Okay, haven't made a video in a while. Thought I'd make a video about bearing trees or trees as monuments, just how to tell what's going on there and what to look for. It can be a little bit difficult, depends on the age and if they scribed it or not. So let me just find a file here that's by the BLM that was done in 2006. So I personally recovered this tree and makes it easy because it says bearing tree, right? And they put some information on there. We won't even try to read it on the screen. But the big thing here is you've got this scribing, and they scribed it on the wrong side, but in the notes they actually admitted how they scribed it on the wrong side. So let's just go here, go new. So just to make it clear, we're talking about this area right here, right? So you can see how in this little groove here that, the tree is healed up from a blazing, right? And it's almost completely closed up, and then you can tell in this outer part, you can see how the bark is a little bit different. So if we just go back to our photograph here, that's what it's going to look like. Helps when the government puts a sign on it. It also helps when you actually get your compass out, your rag tape or your instrument. If it, I also found the monument. So everything there fit. That's the bearing tree. We know it's the bearing tree. I had the notes with me, of course. So if you're out in the field, you need to be looking at the notes, not just finding the monument. You need to make sure that the rancher or farmer or somebody didn't decide to move the monument 5 feet, and then you've got multiple sources saying, this isn't matching what's going on here. So it's part of what we do. Okay, so then that's a bearing tree that's only 20 years old, almost 20. The survey was done from 1999 to 2006, so we actually don't know the exact time of this scribing, not scribing, but the blazing. So that makes it a little tough to pin down the year exactly, but 3 or 4 years plus or minus isn't going to make a big difference on how this tree looks. Obviously, if it was fresh, then that's different, but this is at least 19, 20 years old. So that's what you're going to look for. Now, let's find a tree that was done in 1879. Okay. And I won't go into the long story here, but this is the tree done in 1879, and here's the blazing. And I felt like I could almost see H20 on here, but even using some techniques I know of, it just was not gonna happen. Here it is. I know it looks different, but I think what happened is it got a little bit of damage from the time we first took that picture. And then this is the other side, right? So it's a really old tree, and that's from 1879. And then we've got another one from 1879. And realistically, what it is the surveyor did this survey. I'm not sure how long he took. So let's look at another tree. So here's the tree while it was standing. And if we do a little snipe real quickly of the tree, you'll see what I'm talking about. There's this area right here where this is also fitting in the locus of where I'd expect the tree to be, plus or minus 50 feet, 75 feet, right? This is a 1879 survey with a chain and some sort of instrument, you didn't say. So the BLM, or not the BLM, the GLO came in after this 1879 survey, And they found the distance is off 100 feet from what the deed says. So, it could have been just stadia and a compass. I mean, could have been a chain and a compass. So it's just hard to know. But anyway, that's what I'm looking at right there. They blazed it. They put H19 on it. It's just so old now, deteriorated so much that it's rotted out on the inside. Now, it could just have incidentally rotted out on the inside from a fire, but when it fits so closely with topographic calls and with angles from the other trees, so there's a combination of things that makes me believe that this was the actual H19 tree. So then this is the monument I set because what happened was in a storm in 2022, I think, it blew over. So then I was able to just reset the monument. Or my guys did. I left all the pipe and everything there for them to reset. Looks like they carved their initials in the concrete for posterity. Okay, so that's another one. And then these following trees, they could be dated anytime in the 20s. The deed was written in 1927. So some of these are just, it's about going out there with the distances and the bearings. But they basically admitted they were using a compass when they did this, by the way, in the deed. So you're really just trying to figure out the puzzle. So some of these are a little more blatant than the others. This one I could totally believe got scribed. Here's another one that really looks like a classic scribing. So if we were to do this and look at it, right, it's this area here, right? It looks like a classic scribing, and it even has this thin groove right here, remember the BLM tree? Now somebody might go, oh, well, up here it's got something too. Well, did they do something up there? This tree happens to fit fairly reasonably well with what the deed says, and then when you go 1,000 feet, it's only off 100 feet, and they admitted they used a compass. And it sounds like it wasn't Surveyors too, by the way. It wasn't, this wasn't, but it might have been. We never know. So that's just an example of what to look for with some of these older trees, and even trees that aren't that old. There it is. Look, it looks so similar to the one I just showed you. Maybe they nailed a sign on it too, and the sign fell down, and now that's why there's that scribing that we saw before. So that's just to give you an idea on these bearing trees and what to look for. I didn't see a lot of information on YouTube about it, so I thought I'd just make one up. Thanks a lot. Appreciate the support.